Welcome to The Snack, a lighter serving of Girls Gotta Eat.
This is a Dear Media production.
Enjoy.
Hey guys.
Hi guys. We're here. We are here at Dear Media.
Because
as we transition.
transitioned to a new studio.
Yeah.
Our studio is at my new house in boxes.
Yeah.
So
we're not there yet.
Stay tuned for the new year and we will be back in our new home studio.
Yeah. So we're here. We're glad to be here. And just remind you guys, tomorrow we start our run of holiday shows. So just FYI, final shows of the year. And they will be this weekend in New York and next weekend in Boston. We still have a few tickets left for tomorrow's show in New York and the late Friday show in Boston. And you can get tickets at girlsgottaeat.com.
Yeah, we're so excited, you guys. The outfits, most of the outfits, the performers, the guests.
Everything we do will be at all 5 of these shows.
So
and the outfits, yes. It has been a real journey.
yeah.
Outfit prepping. I feel like I'm meal prepping.
Well,
I have
I feel
little outfits in like little compartments.
You get ahead of it way more than I do.
Yeah.
And like this time of year is the worst because everything sells out because everybody wants holiday outfits. And you and Tessa kept being like, don't forget. Tessa reminded me every day, did you get your Christmas outfits yet? Did you get your outfits to the holiday shows? And I kept being like, and I'll be fine. Because I moved out of my house.
Buying a home.
I'm like renovating. The list is so long. And so I was just like, I'll just deal with it. And then like 2 nights ago, I got online. This was the most I told you so in the whole world. I was like, oh, everything's sold out.
Yeah, week of the show. This is on you. I mean, you have been busy.
I'm too busy.
You have an excuse.
I was like, I'll wrap myself in tinfoil. I don't care.
Right. Oh,
People
yes.
will understand.
Well, thank you for that reminder that the themes are silver and gold for New York and red and green for Boston, Celtics green. Do any green, but you guys get it.
I have a Celtics green dress.
You get why we chose it.
Anyways, we'll thank our partners and we'll get into it. We have a really fun episode for you guys today. Thanks to Boll & Branch, you get 25% off and free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/UGE.
Shredder sheets?
What I said. I don't have a list anymore, okay?
So what's your excuse?
I said it fine. Run it back.
Okay, and thank you to StoryWorth. Get $10 off your first purchase at storyworth.com/GGE. I got DMs about StoryWorth. Like people being like, hey, where's the discount? I was like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
It's the best holiday gift.
We'll sit around and wait for the GGE discount.
Buzz.
Okay, so we want to kick it off with a Wicked report. You didn't know about John Travolta and the Wicked thing.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
Do you know, Tessa? Adele Dazeem?
I laughed last night. Actually, I saw our third movie together.
Yes.
What have we seen? It Ends With Us, Barbie, and last night we saw Wicked. We're like behind the times. We usually are like night one. We go see something.
Yes, we were late. So I'll just kick it off with saying when Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel come on screen, I was like, that's me and Raina. Tall brunette, short blonde. You're the good witch. I'm the bad witch. Like it just really tracks. And then afterwards, I was like, I loved seeing Adele Dazeem. And you were like, say what? And I was like, you don't know Adele Dazeem? So when John Travolta presented her at award show so many years ago, he was like, and now the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
The wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Tessa, you don't know this either?
I know he mispronounced it. I didn't believe it.
But the wickedly talented.
You guys, I finished like a bottle of wine by myself last night at the theater. And when we walked out, I was drunk.
Oh my God.
I was laughing so hard. I thought I was going to fall over.
So can we just talk about the guy sitting next to me?
Actually, it was...
This is our Wicked report, is actually just the people in the theater.
You guys, this was crazy.
So we were sitting like us and our friend Lisa, and there wasn't anyone really down the row from me. If someone was in that row, they were all the way at the end. I loved it. I don't like to be near people because they annoy me.
And this is a dine-in theater, so the seats are really large to begin with. Yeah. We had a lot of space.
So about 10 minutes in, this couple comes in late. How are you late, by the way? Because there's 30 minutes of previews. I'm sorry. I actually have there's no excuse to be late to a movie these days, because when I tell you that obviously the showtime was 7 o'clock and the movie started at 7:30, how are you showing up to a 7 o'clock movie at 7:40?
That's the funniest thing.
So already you're the worst. This couple sits down and the guy reclines his seat. So it's like all the leather squeaking. It sounds like a bunch of farts, which is fine. All the recliners squeak. And then he starts breathing. It was the loudest. If he's really dealing with some sickness or illness, like I want to make space for that.
No, he should have stayed home.
But like, no, I mean chronic, like if he just can't help himself in the world. But that was not it. It was like this guy had a cold or whatever. It was like snoring almost. It was just, what is the word I'm looking for? It was just like,
it was nose gargling. It was just like phlegm. And listen, you're more sensitive to sounds than I am. I can ignore stuff all the time that you hear. Like you're like a dog. Like you have that high pitched ear thing. Like you're like, I can hear things.
Yes.
So when you look at me and you're like, this guy's so loud, his breathing, I was like, I literally don't hear anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like sniffling. I get it. You got the sniffles. I get the sniffles. No, it was his actual just inhaling and exhaling was like a snore.
Well, you were like, I can't deal with this guy's breathing. I'm going to move. So you get up and moved away from me. And I was like, she is being so sensitive. and you moved to the other side of Lisa. And I was like, and then, I don't know, you must have been like the sound barrier between me and that guy. Because I've never heard somebody make that kind of noise on an airplane, in a movie theater. It was gurgling snot in his nose to the point that there was no more seats left. So I had to get up and change rows.
Raina went she went to row B. We were in row C. And I'm sorry, he's there with a woman. He's her responsibility. How do you come with your man and let him breathe like that?
I really can't believe somebody didn't take control of him. Row. It was crazy. There was 2 empty rows and I had to go sit by myself in an empty row. I was drunk, staggering up there alone.
Yeah, sit in the hand job row if you're going to breathe like that. Like that is so crazy to sit in row C. Also, the movie was so loud. The fact that I can hear your breathing over this movie, over the Dolby sound, surround sound, I can hear this man breathing.
You guys, that was the loudest movie I've ever been to. We sat down and I was like, I've never heard a movie this loud. I go to a lot of movies. So that was our Wicked Report, you guys.
So, no, I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. I saw the musical so many years ago, not the original cast. So, sorry. But I really loved it. I mean, I felt really confused at the end. Like, I was like, where's the rest of the story? Like, I guess I'm not in the culture enough, but I was like, does she save the animals? Like I was like, I need to know what happens next. I was like, is that Wizard of Oz or is there something in between? Like, I just felt confused, but I guess I don't know enough.
Okay, so Tessa has let us know that this is the first act, which you've seen it. And
so many years ago.
I read the book and I don't know.
I mean, I honestly probably, has this been around for 10 years? I think I saw it so long ago. Okay, so this is the first half of the musical on Broadway, but it was still 2.5 hours.
It was like 3 hours. I mean,
it was 2.5, yeah.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I'm not like a Broadway theater kind of person. It generally is the last thing I'll typically spend money on and time, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved the costumes and the singing and the acting. I thought it was cast so well, but it was long.
Yeah.
It was really long.
I loved it too. I mean, there's just like so much like symbolism, especially in like our political landscape. I saw that some people were critiquing it for being too woke. You know how I feel. Just say you're racist and homophobic and go. And then it's like, go woke, go broke. It's like, it's the highest grossing adaptation of a Broadway musical of all time. It has grossed about 500 million worldwide.
Wow.
So, But I really liked it. And I just have, the press tour is just.
So I thought we missed our moment to talk about this because this has been one of the most unhinged press tours. Not one of those, the most unhinged press tour.
Wait, hold on. Maybe second to that one with Don't Worry, Darling. Was that the one where Don't Worry, Darling, and then maybe it ends with us. But that was like dramatic. Okay, so anyway.
Don't Worry, Darling was just like a lot of infighting with the cast. And then, it ends with us, obviously, like all that drama. But this, with 2 actors, so Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, if somehow you've missed this, have done a series of interviews for this. They're holding hands, they're crying, they're touching each other. I mean, the voices about that's how Ariana Grande sounds. But it was deeply unhinged to watch just in general. I've never seen anything like this before. The amount of crying and hand-holding.
I mean, they're just really emotional about it. Like, I feel like if I had watched so much press before I saw the movie, and then once you see the movie, you're like, they are going to be on each other. And
you and I have done a lot of interviews together. We've never touched like that.
It couldn't be me. There is nothing less relatable to me than the way they're acting these interviews, just because it's so not my personality, but the whole thing of they were interviewing with that one journalist, and she said people are really holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. And Ariana Grande has no idea what she is saying. And Cynthia Erivo does. And she's like, gets really emotional. She's like, I had no idea people were doing that. And the journalist is basically referring to the queer community. And Cynthia Erivo really feels that. But like, you watch Ariana Grande's face and she is like, oh no, I hope I don't have to speak on this. And it's so funny because even if I didn't know what that meant, I feel like I could figure it out. I feel like I could figure out that this song meant a lot to a lot of people. And that's what it means. And I'm not criticizing. I think it's hilarious that she also came out and admitted, like, I didn't know.
So It's interesting because I was like, do people not know what hold space means? I say it all the time, but I'm an LA person now. Like, it is a very LA thing to say, but Ariana Grande is an LA person. Like, if anybody should know what that means, it's her.
Yeah.
And her explanation for what happened was also just as confusing. She said something that meant something to her, and then it meant something totally different to Cynthia, and then she tried to kind of get somewhere else with it. I remember in the moment I asked myself, am I okay? Did I not hear something? She was saying something, and then we were crying about it again. Like, it was the explanation for not understanding. It was so convoluted.
Yeah. So we just thought that was really funny. But I've enjoyed watching it. I mean, it's like they're still in character in a way.
Yes.
And I'm for it.
Very much.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande did an interview with Drew Barrymore, who you want to talk about like unhinged interview style. But I love her. We're such a fan. We've been on her podcast. We've been on her show. We love her so much. But watching her interview people is hysterical because she's on the ground and she's touching them and she's she's men, women.
Nose to nose.
Yes. Hands all over their bodies. And Ariana Grande, like she might have met her match with Ariana Grande. Did you see that? This interview?
They had this really sweet moment where
you sent it to me.
I sent it to you where Ariana Grande was like kind of talking about how Drew has been in show business this whole time and she's such a good person and all that stuff. That is so funny. She's met her match. They're trying to one up each other. That's like an SNL sketch. Has SNL parodied Drew Barrymore?
Somebody has to.
That is very funny to think that she would have a guest on that is more physically affectionate than her and they're just like fucking by the end of it.
I mean, Drew Barrymore is like stroking people's faces as they're talking, and Ariana Grande is like, Drew like goes to hug her, and Ariana's still talking through the
mic gets muffled. Yeah,
she's just like, no, I'm gonna get through this. She just keeps talking. It's hysterical.
Yeah. So anyway, we loved Wicked, and we loved the Adele Dazeem and Kristen Chenoweth cameos.
They also did some interviews that were a little unhinged and were crying. They did. They were part of this press tour. It was crazy.
No, one of the four of them was so emotional. It's so dramatic. Like listen, like I couldn't be an actor because I don't have it in me to kind of be that serious. You know, like Cynthia Erivo stopped. She goes, you know what I just realized? We have been listening to you for so long. And then everyone starts crying. Like it's just like every interview is a therapy session.
Yes, and it's like I understand it if it's like one. Like I could see a situation where like you and I are being interviewed and like one of us starts crying. We're not gonna touch each other. I would touch people, but just not you. But I can see a situation where you and I are crying about something. But like if we had to do that same interview 5 more times in the same day, the crying would stop.
Right. Yeah, no, they're keeping it up. They're in it to win it. So
honestly, it's genius.
We're not criticizing. Like I'm loving all of it. Love the movie. Love the press tour. I can't get enough of it. Okay, well, speaking of tours, it is the end of an era.
Literally.
The Eras Tour has come to an end.
Taylor Swift ended it in Vancouver this past weekend. I wanted to go so badly. Like, if I had moved into the house on Saturday, I would have been on a plane to Vancouver.
I'm glad you didn't.
Why?
Because you went to the best one.
So we were talking in the car last night. Like, I was so shocked by the lack of coverage of this last show because I thought something crazy
would happen. Yeah.
I thought, like, the craziest guests you've ever seen in your life. I know Travis Kelce had a game that night. Part of me was like, I wonder if he'll, like, propose at the last show. And then I was like, you know what? This is her moment
I don't like that. I don't
celebrate
like it.
herself professionally.
No, that's like a guy proposing on, like, your graduation day or some shit. No.
That's how I meant. So I was like, all right, this is her moment. He shouldn't, like, steal it. And then I was like, oh, he has a game. He's, like, not even going to be there. Like, all these guests have been in all these shows. I thought that, like, she would maybe do it in like Nashville. Isn't she from Nashville? Like we were talking about why was we love Vancouver, but I thought it was an interesting pick for the last show of the tour.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Kate Kennedy and Nikki Glazer's stories and it just seemed like a regular show in the best way. All the shows are iconic. You know, no one has walked away and be like, man, we got a real dud.
No,
I feel like that if I was in the rain. You know me. But Raina, like we were talking about this last night, like when you went to the show in London that Travis Kelce came out, I thought that was going to be a new shtick. I was like, oh, he's going to be at all the London shows or, oh, this is going to be a thing here and there. It happened once. Raina was there. Like, I can't even believe that. And like, again, I don't want to act like a man is the best part of the tour, but still that was pretty crazy. And I would say that's like one of the wilder things that happened. And that show was so iconic in so many other ways. Like you went to that show.
I went to the show of the tour. I really was like bummed that this was going to keep happening. I was like, I just want this to be special for me. And then it just was. And like, He was just her backup dancer. It was insane to watch him walk out there, do a whole dance routine with her and carry her around with his top hat. I'm just like, I cannot believe that I got to be there for this cultural moment. It was the biggest cultural moment of the biggest cultural thing. And then it just like ended. I feel like we needed more.
So this tour started in, drumroll please, March 17th, 2023. This tour has been almost 2 years. I was single when this tour started. I'm engaged now. I was a different person. We had just moved to LA. I lived in West Hollywood. I was on the pill. I was dating TaskRabbits. Like, I was a different I'm engaged.
Nothing in my life has changed.
I was shocked. You bought a home. Or you got something new, great. Probably surgery-wise.
Have I had a boob job since then?
Yeah. You got your chin. Yeah.
My chin. I got a chin. Now she got a fiance. Well, you already had your chin.
Exactly. I was a trailblazer on the chin.
But she did 51 cities worldwide and 150 shows.
See, I read that this was from the New York Times, 149 shows, which it's like, what? You think there's going to be like one more? You think there's going to be another secret show, Tessa?
This is a Tessa Theory exclusive, and I'm behind it, that there was 149 shows, ended it in Vancouver. Her birthday is this Friday.
I have chills.
Travis Kelce was not at the show. There weren't huge guests.
You guys, I am hot.
Blake Lively was not there. Gigi Hadid was not there. All the people we've come to expect being there. If she does a show, where is she going to do it?
What is it going to be?
I will skip our show. You guys, if it is Saturday night, I might not go to the holiday show.
It's so funny because I'm trying to think of a joke and of a big stadium, but she's done the biggest. Like, where would it be? Like the Coliseum in Rome?
I think you. Oh my God, what if she does it at Kansas City Stadium?
Ugh.
What?
Please no. And so this was a post Elite Daily posted, and it said, I don't think we realized just how much has gone down since the start of the Eras Tour with only 2 shows left. Let's refresh. So they posted this, towards the end. March 17th, 2023, Eras Tour opening night in Glendale, Arizona. April 8th, 2023, Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn breakup announced. May 3rd, 2023, Matt Healy and Taylor reportedly start dating. Like, I forgot about Matt Healy.
I didn't forget about it because she has since written an entire album.
Yes, also an album
about Matt Healy.
Right. And then June 5th, 2023, the pair reportedly break up. At this point, I have a boyfriend. So, I too got a boyfriend. May 7th, first Eras Rain show. September 24th, 2023, Taylor makes her first Chiefs game appearance, marking the start of her and Travis Kelce's relationship.
I have chills.
October 11th, 2023, Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour movie premiere. A few other things. There's some Sabrina Carpenter, then some records broken. The Grammys, the Tortured Poets Department announcement. That was February 4th, 2024.
A whole album has come out.
Yes. April 3rd, she becomes the first billionaire from music alone. May 9th, she adds the Tortured Poets Department to Eras set list. June 23rd, Raina knows, Taylor brings Travis on stage for her London show. The bodysuit debuted on October 18th, 2024. The Reputation bodysuit. It's crazy to think of what has happened. Like, it is the best-selling tour of all time. $2 billion in total tickets and some change. Double the gross ticket sales of any other concert tour in history. And it's not the longest tour in history. Not?
I was going to ask you.
I told Tessa to do some research. I saw 30 Seconds to Mars did a 2-year tour.
People want that,
but they're not as big. I'm talking big, like of her level stadium tour. Like is she the longest?
Jay-Z and Beyonce did 2 on the run tours, right? But they were broken up, and neither one of them was like crazy long, right?
So Tessa just reported that Elton John has the longest one. It was like 5 years. And second is currently happening. That's Coldplay. And then this is the third. And we love some of the headlines about the bonuses she gave. She gave like $200 million in bonuses to her performers and her crew, which we love to see that generosity. And then that also brings us to a headline we saw recently that says, after years of favoring male bosses, workers increasingly prefer female leadership. So women bosses, and she's one of the best.
She is one of the very few people you've just never heard a bad thing about her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would like break my heart to hear that like she treated people poorly. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. That was a post about women bosses we saw on the Skim, and that data came from the Wall Street Journal. And it's just that people are wanting more women to be in management, be in charge, be their bosses, and we love to see it, obviously.
I have had some negative experiences with female bosses, but since then, I think there's just been a lot of reform in the workplace and talking about what motivates people and how to speak to people and how to manage employees in general.
Yeah.
And I think that like women are also more empowered in the workplace than they were before to be in charge and to be bosses. And I think maybe people thought before, like, I have to be a bitch to be in charge. And I don't think that that's how things are anymore.
Shout out to the biggest boss in the touring industry, Taylor Swift, and her tour. And we will see what's to come. I am dying thinking about the thought of this, like 150th show.
Like,
she'll announce on her
should
birthday.
Be there. Like, all these people should be there.
Yes, you're so right. And like, I hate to upset anyone who went to Vancouver and is like, what? Like, I thought I was going to the final show and there's still one more. I'm sure it was an incredible show. But yes, you're right. It just doesn't something is not sitting right.
The finality of it doesn't feel final. Okay, well, stay tuned. This is Tessa's one to watch.
Okay, let's just talk about some of our partners and we will get right back into it. I am telling you guys about StoryWorth. Okay, it's the most perfect time of year to do StoryWorth. This is such an amazing gift. I am deep in the gifts right now. Like, I got my spreadsheet going, who I'm getting for people. And I have already gotten this for both my parents. So if you guys have ever wanted to give something really special to your loved ones to capture their stories, this is going to be StoryWorth. So I'll tell you how it works. You are going to purchase your StoryWorth, and then every week they are going to email your loved one, let's just say it's your mom, a thought-provoking question that you get to help pick. So it might be like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done? What's the farthest you've ever traveled? Who was your first love? Tell me about your 30th birthday. Like, they can be kind of like broad or even more granular, and you can help pick. They can do it for you if you don't want to get involved, but you can go in there and choose. All they have to do is respond to the email with a story, long or short, doesn't really matter. And then it's going to be put in this book over the course of the year. And then at the end of that year, StoryWorth will compile all those stories again into this beautiful keepsake hardcover book. I love the book. It really feels really high quality and beautiful and something you're going to save forever. You can obviously order multiple copies, siblings, nieces and nephews, whatever it may be. So we just love it. I can't think of a better gift. And it's such a fun thing for your parents to do. I mean, especially if you have like retired parents or grandparents, like what else are they doing? It's just a really fun thing to do. So families really love it. It has over 35,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, millions of stories preserved since they were founded. And you guys can get in on this. So help your family members share and capture their stories this holiday season with StoryWorth. Go to storyworth.com/GGE today and save $10 on your first purchase. That's StoryWorth.com/GGE to save $10 on your first purchase. StoryWorth.com/GGE.
All right, guys, you know how important sleep is to me. I think it keeps you looking young, healthy, sharp. I will not settle for a bad night of sleep. Boll & Branch, I'm just loving their sheets. I'm loving their bedding. Nothing helps me sleep better than just knowing I'm like on comfy and nice looking sheets. It is the perfect gift for yourself. It is the perfect gift for a loved one, a friend, a significant other. I love the packaging it comes in. It just looks so like nice and chic. The signature hemmed sheets are my fave. They come in so many colors and patterns and obviously sizes, but I used to just do like white, but they have like a lot of different versions of that. I like their natural, I like their cream, and all the sheets come with a signature gift box. So their signature sheets come wrapped and ready in a beautiful gift box, whether it's a gift to yourself or a loved one. It's just gorgeous packaging. It'll make the holiday season even more special. It'll make unboxing for yourself or someone else even more special, and it saves you time during the busiest season of all and offers an unboxing experience unlike any other. So many designs and colors for every bedroom, every style, mattress size. These are all season sheets. They have a breathable, unmatched softness to start, and they get softer with every single watch. I mean,
I'm so obsessed.
I'm just obsessed. And you guys know that like I'm obsessed with sleep, and I will not do anything unless I get exactly 8 hours or more.
The best box in the biz.
Best box in the biz.
Besides us.
Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch, and right now is their best offer of the entire year. Shop the cyber event and get 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/GGE. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/GGE for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details. It's a nice little percent off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Boll & Branch.
Okay, so the story sweeping the nation. The CEO of United Healthcare, the most corrupt of all the health insurance companies, was gunned down on December 4th, 6:45 a.m. as he was walking into work. And it's just been a firestorm of headlines since. And I just want to, I feel like we have to like just kind of say a disclaimer up top about all of this. And like, we're going to talk about some of the like lighter aspects of it, which is what is like sweeping the internet. But murder is not the answer. Just like war is not the answer. We're not going to celebrate murder, not publicly. Like a lot of people feel.
I don't think it's funny that somebody got gunned down in the street.
Yeah. I mean, it's chilling. Like someone got murdered in cold blood, But that being said, this CEO, along with all the other multimillionaire CEOs of healthcare companies who make millions of dollars, $10 million salary for this guy, and deny people coverage, have blood on their hands. Like, I can't not say this. This is something I think about all the time. I think about our healthcare system all the time. United Healthcare was making $30 billion in profit. Like revenue, $300 billion. Meanwhile, billions and billions of dollars, CEO making $10 million, denying people coverage, denying 30% of claims, using AI software because it would deny more claims. Like on top of all the other controversy, like our system is so fucked, but they are denying people life-saving care, just like a lot of the other companies, but they're on like the top when it comes to the worst. And I don't know how you sleep at night doing that. I think they all have blood on their hands. And I'm not saying this is like, he deserved it. These are separate facts, so it plays into why people have celebrated it and why people don't have empathy and it has brought a really important conversation to light. I think we've all known how fucked up our system is, but I have not been able to stop thinking about billions and billions of dollars in revenue, and a child with cancer is getting denied for his nausea medicine. And doctors are begging them to approve it. Like, I could cry thinking about it. Like, I was talking to a doctor friend last night about how sick and twisted the system is. So let's just say that as we get into the discussion.
I mean, I think that people, the public reaction has been really fascinating to watch.
No
it's been a really
empathy.
interesting cultural study. I mean, people are really proud of this. They're excited about it. They think it's funny. They caught him yesterday, and I went to his Instagram. You sent it to me, and he was getting followers by the tens of thousands, and it was just exploding. The comments were proud of him. It was giddy. People were so excited.
People think he's a hero.
His Instagram has since been disabled, so you can't get it now. But people are really excited about this, and it's interesting because I don't celebrate a person being gunned down in the streets. I don't think that's the answer to anything. But people, I don't know how I'd feel if I had a child that was denied coverage, if I had a parent that was denied coverage. I mean, this is really, you're talking about people's lives here.
Two things can be true.
Totally.
Like you don't celebrate someone's murder, but this was probably a real sick fuck. That feels comfortable having such a disgusting system, denying people healthcare, is trying to deny people more healthcare using a faulty AI service so people don't get the medication they need to live.
Yeah.
If you're going to pick the worst CEO in healthcare, that's the guy.
Gotta go after.
So that's why people are I've never seen so little empathy for something. And I feel like I'm on the right side of the internet. I feel like the accounts that I follow, the comment sections, people have empathy. I'm not following a bunch of, I know what I'm seeing when I'm in these comments, because I think the comment section is very telling on public opinion. And you got to think about where this comes from. Yeah. And so we just wanted to say that up top. And now let's get into it. Let's talk about Luigi. Because I will say, this man who was flirting at a hostel and then got Starbucks and then murdered someone in cold blood at 7 a.m. and then hopped on a city bike through Central Park is the most unhinged shit I've ever heard of. To hop on a city bike in Central Park after doing that.
No, this guy had alternative options. And also, by the way, Luigi Maggioni, He's an Ivy League educated kid. He is smart. He isn't I wonder how things work. He went to Starbucks and got caught on tape. He took a city bike and then he got caught finally by the police at a McDonald's. Does this guy not know that Grubhub exists? Well, caviar. There's 1,000 delivery services. He was chilling at a McDonald's with a mask on and a computer and one of the
with his gun on him.
Yeah.
Why is your gun not at the bottom of the Hudson? Why did you not fling it out while you're hitting while you're city biking down the West Side Highway, sir?
This guy loves big brands. For somebody who really hates these corporate America, he really not Citibank bike, McDonald's, Starbucks, the biggest corporations in America.
Not the corporate hate and the Starbucks and the McDonald's.
He could have supported a small local business.
He's a hypocrite.
That's what he is.
I'm sorry, Luigi. Oh, you're so mad at corporate America. Why are you McDonald's then? Why are you at Starbucks? Why are you on a city bike? Couldn't rent one from a local
You
business.
couldn't steal one from a kid. You found out when this guy was going to be walking into the building and you wrote on the bullets. I mean, you really planned this out. And he's like, I'll get caught at Starbucks on camera.
The messaging on the bullets, when that dropped, which it said delay, deny, depose, which is about the healthcare system, like, I didn't even know you could write on a bullet with a Sharpie. Like, this movie, well, now I know, but like the Monopoly money in the backpack, like everything is just straight out of a movie. And I don't know why he didn't flee farther. Like, why is he in Pennsylvania?
Why is he in Altoona?
No, but
he gets Altoona from New York City in an hour and a half.
Yeah, like
I don't get it. And it took them, by the way, a week to catch him.
So, okay.
Why didn't he leave?
So that's my question for you. So do you think, like, if you kill somebody, every moment that passes is like, I might get caught? You know, like, you are just terrified that you might not get away with this, but every minute has got to feel like an hour. A week, it took a week. A week's got to feel like a lifetime. Like, do you think when he was at McDonald's, he just thought he got away with it? Do you think he was reading the comments? He was like, oh, they're not coming for me. I'm America's hero. Like, do you think that it just like, if you kill somebody in that way, so brazen, and a week goes by, do you think you just thought you got away with it? Because why is your gun with you at McDonald's?
Also, not just got away with it, the entire country was on like a manhunt for this person. It was the biggest story in the news.
I wouldn't say that. I think a few people.
The opposite.
The whole country was call off the manhunt.
Yeah, I'm going to walk it back. It was the biggest story on social media and in the news. I can't believe, who is this McDonald's employee that narked him out?
So people say Chick-fil-A wouldn't have snitched.
Pizza Hut wouldn't have snitched on Luigi.
I'm in the shade room comments, obviously. Like, the comments are so funny. Someone said this would ever happen at Waffle House. People said he's America's least wanted. People say he looks like a Jonas brother. Oh, guess what? This is the headline I want to tell you. People bombed that McDonald's reviews. Google had to take it down. So everybody bombed the Altoona McDonald's reviews. It comes from Reuters, that Google had to step in and pull the reviews, which they do very occasionally if a place is getting review bombed based on like a political situation or something like that. Can you believe that? People are so mad about this snitch at McDonald's.
I mean, I'm sorry if you guys missed his Instagram before they took it down. I mean, tens of thousands of comments.
The prison photos are where it's at. Can they stop taking these? Because they're just hotter than the next. The one
too hot.
The one in the cell, you guys. I saw this meme that was like, do you think they keep trying to get a bad picture? And they're like, forget it, he's too hot. Like, I saw the mugshot and then I saw the picture in the cell. I'm like, this is laughable how good looking he is for what the situation is.
He looks like Jason Tartick. I mean, he looks like he should be on The Bachelor. He's so
like, they need to stop releasing these photos. Everyone's too horny.
I mean, the camera that he got caught on at Starbucks is so crazy. The surveillance camera, it's blurry. He has a hood on and he still looks sexy. Do you know how ugly I look at the airport on those surveillance cameras?
So I have to tell you, I have a friend. I'm not going to name her by name. She's the first one that broke the news that he was hot. Like, she texted the group chat and she was like, I feel like I can only share this with you guys. Do you think this guy that shot the United CEO was kind of hot? And I read it first thing in the morning and I thought she meant the United CEO. And
That's what I thought she meant too.
And I was like, oh my God, I have to not be friends with you.
Like, we're not the same.
That guy's terrifying looking. He looks like a bad person. R.I.P. But it's crazy. Like, we can link this AP article. It's a timeline that is every single thing he did from November 24th, like by the hour up until he got caught yesterday. Like, there's cameras everywhere. Like, I mean, we're not China. Like, we're not completely under surveillance in certain, like, other countries are, but everybody knows what he did this whole time. Like, I don't know what he thought. If there was part of him that was like, if this is how I go out, that's fine. Like, I don't know, but like, I read this and I was like shocked. Just like November 24th, this is when he arrives in New York City on the Greyhound bus, 11 p.m. He takes a taxi. Like, everybody has now, like, law enforcement has now figured out what he did all along the way. Like, it's hard to get away with this shit.
Yeah, I mean, in New York City especially, there's not a single business in New York that doesn't have a camera out front. Right. There's security cameras literally everywhere, and I don't understand why he, like, used public transportation and just, like, went to Altoona.
Mm-hmm. Like, why are you not in Bali?
I think that, so he left a manifesto, and I have not, like, gotten into it. They say it's similar to the Unabomber. He's, like, very smart.
Well,
it's long.
He likes his books. Isn't his Goodreads public?
Yeah, they made his Goodreads public. This is like this so.
Why are they
Goodreads?
I'm sorry, but the media is making him too sexy. They were like, also he reads. No, this is a media problem. Why are they making him America's
When they
heartthrob?
release his like Peloton stats, I'm gonna lose my mind.
No, when they say he went to the Eras tour,
I want to know what his sweet green order is.
when they tell us which Eras show he went to and show his friendship bracelets, it's over. We're getting him out.
I want to see his Amazon wish list. This is so funny.
All right. Well, yeah. So I think we covered it all. It's shocking to see how little people care that someone who is responsible for other people's deaths got murdered in such a way. And it has turned into a riveting story.
I mean, from day one, because I remember my whole feed was about this the first day. And I remember saying to you, like, I don't understand why this is like such a big story.
Oh my
Like,
God. Immediately.
people get killed every day. Not that it's not great, but like it was my entire feed.
No, it took me a minute too. It was the first thing I saw when I woke up on that day. And for a split second, I was like, why is this such a big deal? And then I was like, this is a huge deal. This does not happen.
Right.
Broad daylight, New York City, some CEO just gets shot in the back. Like, this is actually so insane.
So insane.
So, all
I look
right.
forward to more prison photos.
And more
something new to
details on
masturbate
his
to.
life.
No.
Okay, well, we actually have one more fun thing, and that's an interview that we have with Logan Ury. She's going to tell us about the new show on Netflix, Later Daters, who she is the star of. So we will get into that with her.
Okay, guys, we are very excited to welcome back a guest we've introed on this show many times, and we're so happy to have her again. She is a behavioral scientist turned dating coach. She is the author of How to Not Die Alone. She is the director of relationship science at the dating app Hinge, and she is the host of the Netflix new sensation dating show, The Later Daters. Please welcome back to the show, Logan Ury.
Yay! Thank you for having me. And wow, that bio is getting too long.
Yeah, you make me feel lazy, Logan.
Can you be
It's
less
crazy.
accomplished, please? No, we're so excited to have you for your first snack episode because now you're a Netflix star. So
Yay! I'm ready to snack with you.
can you give us a little bit of history on how the show came about and lead that into what the show is about for anyone who might not know?
Yes.
We've
Yeah,
watched it.
sure.
We love it. But
Okay, great. Yeah. So The Later Daters is a show in which I help 6 daters who are 55 plus get a second or third or fourth chance at love. And I'm the on-screen coach, and I help them figure out who they are, what they want, and how to find love. And then it's really cute because you see the coaching sessions, and then I also FaceTime them afterwards to debrief with them and give them advice for their next date. The show came about because I was contacted by a producer who had the idea for the show. And his idea was that he was single and moving back in with his mom at 35. His mom was a boomer who was single, and they started talking about dating together. And so he had this idea for helping boomers date, but in the context of with their millennial kids. And I thought that idea was amazing. And then also the team behind it. So it's the team that made Cheer and Chef's Table and
Yeah.
America's Sweethearts, really
my
good
God.
shows. Then the guy Kian, who made Love on the Spectrum, which is my favorite dating show. And then executive produced by Michelle Obama.
oh, no big deal.
This is just a list of all my favorite things.
Who you're going to
Oh,
see
yay.
tonight, which we can't even. We're so jealous.
I know.
Are you guys like friends? Like,
Do you want to
No,
invite us?
I haven't met her yet, but I am
Oh,
meeting her
tonight.
today.
Oh my
so
God,
I'm really
Logan.
excited about that. I know. I'm so
what a big
excited.
day.
Oh,
First, I
my
get to see you
gosh.
two, and then Mrs. Obama.
Which
We're
one's
just
more important?
The
Rank them.
pregame for,
Yeah.
for your biggest.
Obviously, girls got to eat.
Yeah.
Logan, Ashley and I both love the show. I find it so delightful, and I love that people's kids are on it with them. And I
Yeah.
think that just the generational gap in dating advice is so interesting to me. Like, I wonder what it was like for you to give dating advice as you're a millennial to like people that are 20 years older than you, 30 years older than you. Like, was that such a challenge, or do you feel like people are people?
So as I was preparing for the show, I was like, oh, I feel like there's a lot about this population that I don't know. And all of my research has really been done with Gen Z and millennial daters. But I found that my advice really was able to transfer. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I talk about in my research and in my book is the same thing no matter what age you are. So things like being more vulnerable so that you can connect with people, which I know we talked about on the show last time, and really understanding which kind of person you should be with, how you should be open to someone who's not traditionally your type. So there were most of the things I think were relevant to the older daters, but there were some things that were different. So for example, Suzanne on the show, she really is operating from this older playbook. So she wants to be really coy. She wants to play hard to get. When this guy asks her on a second date, she says, behave. And so there were some moments where I was trying to upgrade their dating playbooks.
What did you learn about that generation that you maybe didn't know before? Is it just kind of that like some of them are operating from like an older playbook, or did you find were there any revelations you had?
There was a lot of things on the show that were really interesting for me. So I was pregnant while shooting the show.
Oh my God.
And so I really tuned into a lot of the mother-daughter relationships because that was just something I was so interested in. So I loved Anise and her daughter, Dwayna. I felt like it was so interesting to see like how they talked as equals, but then they also gave each other a hard time, mostly Dwayna giving her mom a hard time. I loved how close Suzanne and her daughter were. So that was one thing that I paid a lot of attention to. The stories of people who were widowed were also really touching. I think that when you get married, you just assume like, we'll both die at an old age together and have these, great experiences. And you're like, life throws a lot of things your way and you just don't know what to expect. And so I feel like there was also a lot of lessons in just life is long, life is hard, but there's also many different phases to look forward to.
I like that we're bringing a lot of this to light with like the Golden Bachelor, Golden Bachelorette, and like really highlighting this older generation that their life isn't over just because they got divorced or lost a spouse.
I love this idea that like some dating advice really is so antiquated, but like when would they have learned new dating advice? Like I think that women were raised to be like, keep it all in, like you don't have to be so vulnerable, play coy, make them play hard to get. And I think it's interesting to like update that rule book a little bit. And like if somebody's been married, one of the women on the show has been married 3 times and then she's single for 20 years, like where would she have gotten this information? So you really are like updating this.
That's like part of the first episode. And I've seen the first episode a bunch of times now. And I always think about it and I'm like, she's this gorgeous 62-year-old. And it's so interesting to hear married 3 times, but you've been single for 20 years. It's like that all happened. And then like what's been happening in the last 20 years. So that one her name is Anise. She always sticks out to me. And so I feel like there were things where they really just needed help. So around as I said, how to be vulnerable or not being as coy. But then there were some things that I thought the later daters were actually better at and that younger daters could watch and really learn from. And one of them is flirting.
Suzanne they are spicy.
So spicy. Suzanne is an amazing flirt. Like every guy that goes out with her is obsessed with her. She's so playful. She really gives great banter. I feel like if you watch that show and you really just tune into how Suzanne talks to guys, like there are some lessons there around how to be fun, how to be flirty, how to make the most of a date. So I feel like we can learn a lot from Suzanne.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the way they interact, were you surprised by some of these conversations? Because like these sometimes are like the men specifically are, they're older. They're not as PC. They're a little out of pocket.
They're not the Me Too generation.
Right?
Always taught them how to behave.
I was watching the first episode. I'm not going to name any names, and I was like, damn, like that's a little bit out of pocket.
I know.
Yeah.
So what was interesting is, so I did really long coaching sessions with them, like maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then of course they get condensed to a few minutes. And then I did the FaceTime with them after their dates, but I wasn't on the dates. So when I watched the show, that was my first time seeing the dates. Right. And that was really fascinating because I'd heard from them what the dates were like, but not seen them.
Wait, this is my dream.
Right.
This is why, because sometimes Ashley and I will talk to friends of ours that are like single and they'll tell you about a date. And I'm like, what happened here really?
Yes.
And you actually get to know.
It really was so cool because I feel like I really tried to show up as a coach the same way I do with my coaching clients. Obviously, it was a little different because the cameras were there. But when I watched the show, I feel like I'm myself. I don't think I'm playing a character. I really feel like I'm the person that you guys have met and I'm the person that my friends know. But one thing that I think was different is just this ability to do the post-game analysis of the dates and really get to see the dates themselves. And it makes me wish that I could be like recording my clients' dates.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that first date with George, when Anise and George go out, I was just horrified. And I was like, imagine his son watching the show. Like, wouldn't he just be so embarrassed?
Is he the one that was like, are all your kids from the same dad?
Yeah.
He was
and says like, have you gotten any
women
work
a little
done?
Ghetto or something? I was like, sir.
Yeah, I just like couldn't believe it. And Anise was so special and like she was just such a caring mom and she was so strong and she was, highly educated. And then just to see her on that date, I feel like if I was watching it at home for the first time and I didn't know her as a person, it might make me feel better about some bad dates. So I like that the show shows how you can find love, how you can grow, how you can learn at any age, but also that, a lot of us are going on bad dates and that's part of finding love.
I can't even imagine my dad on these streets. I mean, Raina, you have to think about that. Your dad's dating.
Because I'm dating men that age.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying like your dad is dating.
Yeah.
That thought crosses your mind of what your dad's like on a date.
You know what it makes me think of is that when I watch older men talk to flight attendants on planes, is what and there was this one guy I was sitting next to one time and he was like really flirting with her and he like would not let up and she was being like really nice and really professional. Almost to the point that I was like, can you stop this, sir? He's trying to just be polite. But yeah, I think some people just haven't taught that generation of men how to behave.
So Logan, if our listeners, which we would love if they're 55 plus, but probably more likely that they're the children of those boomers. Yeah. Like, what advice do you have to pass on to kids and grown kids that might have these parents that are lonely and, divorced or widowed and that like want to get back out there, but can't even begin to imagine how that would start or look?
Yes. So one of the first things is just letting your parent know that you really want them to find love. Mm-hmm. And if they feel like you're going to judge them or you think you're replacing their dad, just let them know how much you would love if they found love. And that's something that you really want for them.
Like give them permission.
Give them permission. I think the second thing is really exploring why haven't they been dating? So is it that they're afraid of online dating? Is it that they're afraid of rejection? And so how can you help them the same way that you might help yourself or help a friend? And so take cute profile pics of them, set them up on an app, encourage them to go on dates, celebrate with them when they go on a great date. Commiserate with them when they go on a bad one. And I think really that if you are an older dater and you haven't dated in the age of dating apps, and it's really been a while since you've met someone new in a romantic capacity, just having a friend or your kids support you can make all the difference.
I love all those things.
Aren't like a lot of people going on Facebook? Like, I guess you can message people, but are they doing dating? I think.
Yeah, there is Facebook dating, and several of the people on the show mentioned that they were using it. I'm not that familiar with it, but all of the dating apps have room for daters of an older age, and I think it sort of varies by geography.
Okay.
Because remember my mom, she was like, all these men keep friend requesting me and they're all catfishes. And my mom's married to my dad for 40 years. And she goes like, look at this guy. She showed me him. And as she's scrolling up, she goes, oh, I actually don't think this was a catfish. And he was so hot. He was hot. I said it to Raina. Raina was like, give him my number. So the people are out there. Like, I don't know how this man found my mom. Like, he probably thought she was cute and was like, maybe she's single and just like friended her.
That's so funny. Well, your mom's hot.
Yeah.
I have a question for you about like feeling confident as you get older, because I'm sure that came up a lot. I didn't finish the show, so I apologize. But like we talked a few weeks ago on the show about like just starting to feel like I don't look the way I used to. I don't physically feel the way I used to. Like, did that come up with daters a lot? Feeling like I don't recognize the person in the mirror anymore necessarily.
Yeah, that came up, and it came up in two ways. It came up in terms of I haven't been naked in front of somebody in a long time and I feel self-conscious about that. Or I am still attracted to people who are a lot younger than me. And what do I do about that? And so, for example, with Pam, who is a character. She's great. There's part of the show where you see me talking to her and I'm like, hey, I want you to keep an open mind. Like the men your age, the men you're going to meet through this experience, they're not going to look like the men that you dated when you were in your 20s or 30s. And she laughs because she's like, open mind. Everyone's always telling me I have too open of a mind and to close my mind. And then in terms of the confidence thing, I think it's okay to just acknowledge the fact that things will feel harder, that you might have to explore intimacy in a different way. There's really good research that Match Group did around dating 60 plus. And they actually found that a lot of these people were having better sex, were better able to ask for what they wanted. And there was even a stat that they fake orgasms less often. And so there's just a sense of at an older age, you kind of care less, about being fake or trying to be something that you're not. And both of you are just kind of navigating your bodies in a different way. And there's a lot of ways to have pleasure and be intimate, even if things and your parts are not working exactly the same way they did when you were younger.
Well, you don't have time to waste.
Yeah.
Why are you going to fake an orgasm at 60? You're like, I got maybe 25 years left. Like, I don't have time to be faking orgasms.
But don't you love that?
Because they
It's
don't
like,
have stamina. They'll just chuck around a few minutes.
Well, there's that too.
yeah, that's just something that I loved about the show is I feel like the people on the show are hot. The people on the show are vibrant and they're living their lives and they look good and they're having fun and they have these really rich relationships with their families. And so I think a lot of the portrayals of older people are either that they're ignored and you don't see them on TV at all, or that when you do see them on TV, it's really kind of making fun of them or they are the butt of the joke. And I feel like this is a show that really celebrates people in later chapters of life and really shows that we have something to look forward to.
Oh, I love it. It's so important. We think about this stuff all the time, especially with having a sex toy company. Like, how can we even reach an older demographic? You know, we want women of any age to feel like that we're approachable with masturbation. And Cosmo did a whole spread on sex after 60, I believe it was called. They might have pulled data from the match.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's just with this, the Golden Bachelor, like I mentioned, I just really love that this is getting out there. Because yes, I feel like people, you hear, especially women, say you feel invisible after a certain age.
I think the show just changes the narrative. I'm glad that Golden Bachelor is out there. I'm glad that this show is out there. And I just really feel like, you know, you're hearing Gen Z daters who are like afraid to turn 30. It's like, no, like every stage of life has its challenges and its opportunities. And it's like, yes, wear your sunscreen, but also like life doesn't end at 30.
Ugh, I love it.
I do too. I have to tell you something.
Aging.
I'll tell you something. So watching the show, I don't really want kids, but like watching the relationships with the kids and their parents made me, for like the first time in a long time, go like, I could do that. Like seeing like adult relations, like I'm not like besties with my mom. I would love to be, that would be nice. But like watching these girls kind of like roast their moms and they're like friends. I mean, Ashley and her mom are like that. And it just made me be
my
like,
mom and Justin. Oh, that was that guy's name. Sorry.
You know I love an Austin.
I want my mom to stay with my dad. I'm not saying that.
I'll be with that guy. But it did, I enjoyed that aspect of the show too. And it made me think about like, you just don't see a lot of like adult parent relationships a lot featured on television shows for any reasons. And I really liked that part.
Well, Logan, this was wonderful. Thank you for taking the time. We love having you back. If you guys haven't heard previous episodes with Logan, they are some of our best, everybody's favorites. So go back and listen. But we're glad you took the time on the day that you're meeting Michelle Obama to
Yay. Well, thanks so much for having me. And for anyone who's listening, I'm teaching my dating class called Propel in January. And so for anyone who wants to check that out, they can look it up on my website. But yes, love to be here. Thanks for having me. And I hope everyone enjoys the Later Daters.
Yeah. Logan, congrats on everything. The show, becoming a mom since you came on the show. And we just love you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. You can follow me on Instagram at Logan Ury. And if you're interested in your dating tendency, what's holding you back from finding love, you can take the quiz on my website, loganury.com/quiz.
Love it.
Logan, thank you so much.
Well, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, thanks, guys.
And you guys know where to find us, girlsgottaeat.com. Get tickets to the shows this weekend and next weekend, last shows of the year, and maybe forever. No.
Actually,
I can't help myself. Girlsgottaeat.com. We are Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I am Ash Hess. Raina is Raina.Greenberg. Subscribe on YouTube. Share this episode with a friend, and we will see you guys Monday.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.